You don't remember the big breaking story of him and his buddies stealing the crab legs from the grocery store. And everybody in the world was like, everybody knows how much money you're getting under the table and you're stealing crab legs? What's wrong with you?
I know that there's a story.
Brother, this guy stinks!
You know, with the snow crabs or stone crabs or whatever it might have been. But you left it out when Coach asked you, did you have any issues? You know, I wouldn't leave it out.
Oh man. Yeah.
Right? I mean, everybody.
Stone crabs?
I just don't see that. He's such a positive character right now. Are you suggesting that this image that he's putting out is perhaps false?
The decision to make Jackson 2 with you as the emergency, was that a difficult one to accept from your standpoint, given your standing in the league and what you know you can do as a player?
Yeah,
or did you understand?
As a competitor, you know, you want to be the starter. But like I said, I prepare to be the starter. I know I'm a starter in this league, but my role, like I think you have to be able to be grateful for your role. My role right now is to assist Russ and Jackson in being the best that they can be while preparing to be the best that I can be. So no matter if I'm 33 or whatever, like this is my first year being number 19. So it's always a first for everything. So I focus on what I would love. And what I would love is for this team to have success.
He might have found Jesus. I don't know.
He certainly does profess his faith quite a bit.
Good for him.
Interviews, on practice we watched.
I did see a clip, yeah. What are your thoughts on him as a quarterback?
So, I really do think that he is genuinely the most, or at least he comes across as the most positive person in the NFL, like across the board. Always seems to be Mr. Congeniality, smile on his face, positive, you know, good job, let's go do it, good game, sportsmanship, always nice to fans, reporters, all that. I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say this because I don't want to be mean. I don't think he knows what he's doing. And I don't mean like he doesn't know what a quarterback is supposed to do or what the position is. I mean, I literally think he does not know what he's doing in the next tenth of a second. Every tenth of a second that he is out there. Like, if you watch him scramble, especially, or run, I mean, he literally, it's like his body is trying to decide between 4 or 5 different things at any given time as to what he wants to do. He's, for that reason alone, he's super entertaining for me to watch. Just to see somebody that is...
It's probably where all the picks come from.
Ooh. Well, it almost seems, because he does have... He's got an arm. He can put it where he wants to.
Uh-huh.
I think he's a great actor. I think he is paid a lot of money still for a certain reason, and that's because he's done the jobs he's supposed to do and hit or not hit the things he's supposed to hit or not hit at the right times, and therefore you get your money, you keep your mouth shut, you keep playing your role, and that's his character. He's the super baby face, you know?
I think he's a better actor than he is quarterback. So
I think he's actually very talented, but I genuinely think that, I don't know, maybe that's the way that his body processes adrenaline, and it's just, you know, that kind of fight or flight, but it's just panic, but it works out, you know, because it's just all this chaos energy continuing to move that moment apart. You know what I'm talking about?
I totally understand what you're trying to say.
I will spend the time and I will put together just a couple few second clips and make a I might make a short out of it, but I'll put it in here too.
I've watched Jameis Winston since college. When he was at Florida State, I remember the catch that won the game over the middle. You know, I remember that. I remember he was very good in college, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, very, very good. When he got to the NFL, everybody else is really good too, and it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's not like coming from a program like Alabama or Georgia or Clemson in the past decade. Not so much to play, but you get what I'm saying. There were obviously programs that were building NFL teams. Look at active rosters right now. How many active Alabama players? How many active Clemson players? How many active? It's a lot.
Yeah,
so
Georgia, LSU.
Yeah, just name them. So I think it kind of was same thing. Johnny Manziel for me. Johnny Manziel was a slinger. He'd go out and party all night, come in and throw for 500 because he had really good players around him. He had, who's that? Mike Evans, first ballot Hall of Famer without question. I remember the team he had around him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they don't.
All these other really good players that went to have really good careers in the NFL and have done, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's not just you, him, and going against, a team that has one or two good players. It's everybody here got drafted for a reason. You know what I mean?
Man, there was one year, what was it? It was literally Alabama had, I don't want to be wrong on that, but they literally had like 11 players drafted,
Yeah.
That's
kind of changing with the NIL. We've touched on that with our other channels and stuff, sports ball talk. But there's not those programs that you're expecting 3 or 4 first-round draft picks anymore. You're like, oh, well, they got 1 or 2 maybe, and these guys got 1 or 2 maybe, and if you're lucky, this team has 3. And, oh, look, they won the national championship. So you know what I'm saying? It's not,
right.
Hey, here comes Alabama again making another natty run. It's who's going to be this year? Who had the right deals in the NIL and the transfer portal? Who dropped the little breadcrumbs? Who had more candy to spread? There's not a lot of loyalty anymore in college football.
Right.
It's turned very much into the NFL model. It's just
I hate that
I
so
do too.
much.
It was like that's why it's gotten so popular with high school football and now they're taking that away from us because the money's starting to pour into that even more so than it already was. So
on that note, I did see some very good high school ball this past weekend. It's very cool to see because I've started that. It's been a long enough time of me doing that where now I'm seeing kids that I literally saw as kids now work their way up through all these different levels, and I remember calling it like right then, like seeing this one tackle push, just makes the defense go where he wants the defense to go, and you see this technique and this instinct at this young age, and you're like, oh, that kid's going to go play for somebody. He's definitely going to play in college. Yeah. And you see him maybe his senior year of high school, and you're like, that kid might even go pro. And then you see him in college, you're like, oh, that kid's definitely going pro. And then you see him go, and you're just like, it's very cool to be able to spot that talent and then follow it. I'm very lucky to be able to follow it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's scouts that get paid a lot of money because they can spot that stuff early. I mean, it's sad that they're literally scouting out peewee football games now. Like, oh, whose kid is that? Oh, Miss Johnson, can I talk to you for just a second?
Well, see, that's one thing I will say. The peewee level of sports, I think that a lot of coaches, they see 1 or 2 things and they think that this is the best player and that's the best player, and they disregard most of the other players at that level, which is terrible, but that is what it is because it's usually somebody's dad who's making their son play the position, that whatever. We all know the story. That being said, I'm a coach, and I make a point to try to assess all the players, and I develop all of my players, and I mean, there's a reason we got the best team out there, But it's very cool to see that. And, I mean, there's some kids that are not going to play professional,
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
But then you do have the kids that you know that they're either going to never play this sport again, or you are going to make them love this sport and have the drive to become good at this sport, and they're going to at least have a career where they can have this be something they do in high school, have that be a whole nother social group they unlock, or maybe you see where they might have potential to go to college, so you at least set them up to have that opportunity. I have I have 2 kids right now that I'm working with that they were 11 the first time that I interacted with them, and I told their dad, I said, if you let me work with these kids, and if they're really serious about this, I promise you, these kids are absolutely going to get college scholarships. That's not me talking out of my butt or anything.
Right.
It's I recognized it, and and they're doing very well. So I will say, I don't want to disclose any private stuff or whatever, but I'm very proud. And that's another thing. It's really cool to see, whether it's your top tier players or your lower tier players, it's very cool to see them develop and become whatever their full potential is.
Love to see that plant blossom, turn into a nice, beautiful little flower that goes out there and kicks somebody's ass. Yeah.
Or you have the kind of quiet, reserved one who then suddenly becomes this beast out there and you're just like,
Well, just had to feed it a little bit, and there they go.
It's such a cool thing. I'm getting on a tangent. We'll probably have to edit out most of that because that's not what people want to listen to. We were talking about Jameis Winston. So I do feel for him, and I saw the interview because you obviously know his quarterback situation right now, where he's at, and the lineup and all that.
He's on a team.
Well, he's a solid QB3 on that team, right? And he's had these. Anyway, they interviewed him and they're like, "How does it feel, being replaced by Jackson Dart?" And he's comments like, "I'm used to being replaced by a boy from Utah, because it happened to him in his college career. Like he has this pattern of this kind of thing happening." And I really do think he is a quarterback, and he's capable of being a starting quarterback. I don't think he's the top tier quarterback in the league, but I think given the right environment, he would be a good quarterback. But he has to have the team that is built for him to make that work. And I will say, maybe in this day and age, there is a place for that. Like we talked about wrestling crossover, like potential stuff coming out there. Maybe the NFL starts getting a little more loopy there, since they're nerfing more of the masculine and aggression, those kind of aspects of the game. Maybe they try to get more of the eyeballs by dangling some stuff here this way and getting them to do this a little bit now. Like, oh, we've got this, we've got the good boys, we've got the farmhouse fraternity, if you will, if you're from that realm. We've got the, you know what I'm saying? The positive,
I get where you're going, but hold on, I gotta
boys.
know.
It becomes more and more sports entertainment. That way you can have my Raiders come out as the clear heels. Maybe we have the Eagles get thrown in there too. Get some of these rowdier teams, and that becomes the whole mantra. So you get what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, didn't Vince McMahon, didn't he just start a new company?
He did. What was that?
14 and I? Wasn't that what it was called? A little paying homage to his pops?
Yeah, so you mean he's not completely removed from everything?
Well,
there's a scandal and he's not allowed to do anything. He's still very much involved in...
Well, I still think there's, lawsuits and all that stuff. He settles those one by one. It just, you gotta let those things play out. But
time and money.
Yeah, I saw he started a company, a new one, a couple months ago. It's got 2 or 3 new LLCs tied directly to it, trademarks, all that stuff. I thought it was interesting is his old buddy Brad has been named as the president of this company. He was a WWE exec at one point, I believe.
Isn't it interesting how many wrestlers, or wrestling affiliated people, are in other positions of power now, in political spheres as well?
But wait, isn't The Rock on the board of the people for Titan and TKO and all that?
I think that's just his elbow.
Oh, just this part, just this piece. I thought he had a substantial stake in that. Now, hey, but tune in.
It's truly incredible the amount of capital some of these individuals are able to accrue, given that initial boost. There's the whole saying, it takes money to make money, but you give this individual $100 million, and then before too long, they are a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's
like when Billy G was like, "I'm giving away all my money, And then like 2 years later, he's worth quadruple of the amount that he said he was going to give away because he just wanted to give away all of his money.
Well, a lot of the money went to the foundation too, where he's doing all the stuff, the cool things.
But anyway, back to the...
Yeah, I don't even know where I was now.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that Vince
Oh, we're
was
talking about Vince McMahon, yeah.
starting that new company.
I mean, it checks out. That's the cycle. That's what business is, I mean, look at Donald Trump. How many bankruptcies and how many companies... But first of all, I'm not saying he's a failure. I don't like when they made that whole political argument. Oh, he's had, 17 bankruptcies. Whatever. And it's like, well, that's how business works. They purposely have this. They write off all this debt. It's entirely evil and a corrupt system, but it's the way the system is designed, and that's just how it is. It's actually not him failing, it's him succeeding, and it's up that he's succeeding. I don't agree with that system at all, but that's, you get what I'm saying?
Didn't he make that point on the thing with Hillary where they both had microphones and she was going off and...
Okay, time out. So I know we've had theatrics throughout all American politics, but I feel like when Donald Trump came onto the scene of the presidential debates, that's when they fully crossed over into sports entertainment. That's when they were no longer allowed to be a sports broadcasting network, a political broadcasting network, Then it went to political entertainment. It's PIN now,
A lot of people forget that Trump was a wrestler for a couple of years there, for a while.
Right.
Don't you remember the Battle of the Billionaires? Him and Vince were going at it?
Well,
Hillary's
man. Got her own body count. I mean, that is what it is. But I just remember him coming out there, and I know Shane Gillis has got a bit about it. Numerous other comics have bits about it, but it literally was... Well, it even started before he was debating the Democrats. We'll rewind. It was the Republican debates prior, because they would come out and they were like, what's your policy on taxes? And he was like, your wife's ugly, you're stupid, your face sucks, and people are like, you can do this? The camera's still rolling? Yeah! And, I'm pretty sure Budweiser started cracking. And I don't know how that, somebody was out there in the... But yeah, it's...
Oh, man.
It's all theatrics more and more, and that's across the board. People don't realize that they're carefully curated thing that comes up, or take your mass streaming things like your Amazon, your Netflix, these shows that are designed and mass produced to put certain ideas out there and steer people's minds certain ways. They don't think anything about it. Because if you can put enough content to fill these blocks of time for people, then they have no time to have any independent thought or consume any content that's outside of that. So we just got to make sure we have it uniform so everybody's still watching their programming.
Yeah. It's weird how easy it is for them now,
I don't know. I think it's always been easy. I think at the end of the day...
it's science. They got pamphlets and stuff now, all laminated and shit.
I mean, that started back with old Edward Bernays, founder of modern propaganda, as it were.
What's that, Project Mockingjay or something?
Well, that came a little later. I mean, he first started getting hired by different companies to help them suddenly have...
You just triggered a story for me.
I mean, to continue. And you
well, no, I absolutely do, but I do remember, because I didn't really know his name, but the only thing I have associated with Bernays is a soap.
Yeah. I think I told you that.
You might have told me that story however long ago it was, but please proceed. No, the father of propaganda is, once I looked into him, and as what I became to know him as, was the father of propaganda. So.
Yeah. The soap whittling thing, that was clever. Good. So if you're unfamiliar with this, they wanted to sell soap. They wanted to sell this particular soap, and sales were not so hot.
Mm-hmm.
So what does he do? He takes the soap, he gives it away for free to all these different schools, all these 4-H clubs, all these community groups, and encourages them to have soap whittling competitions with the children. But it's all the same product, same packaging, that's what they all get familiar with. And then they also put a few commercials out in the newspaper print as well, right at the time, to correspond and make a point to say how soft it is. and the rest is history. You know, sales to the because people just from having this product and seeing everybody else with the product, they instantly like, oh, this is the product.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how quickly it becomes a uniform thing and people assimilate on. That's also the reason the reason that breakfast cereal became a trend, the reason that many of these very core things that are pretty much the paradigm for modern life in a lot of ways are just manufactured ways. Yeah, exactly. Someone to be programmed to consume this particular product. I can take this much of your life, this much of your time away, this much of your resources away, both time and financial. And they just, as much little niblets as you can until you get the whole picture.
Like taxes.
Yeah, something to that. Although now there's the whole conspiracy realm you want to go, that more and more interfacing with computers, and that's taking more and more away from you there too. And then when you're fully integrated, do you even have a soul anymore at the end of the day?
Scary times.
Very interesting, big concept things to think about in dark, smoky rooms. But
man.
Up into his 70s, he's still looks like a professional wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And it's granted he's had a few weird stages in terms of his appearance, we'll say, where you're just like, whoa, my man.
Literally look like a villain in a comic book.
Yeah,
and a couple different versions of a villain in a comic book. Yes. But that's one thing a lot of wrestlers that were close to him and not close to him would say is the thing Vince spent most of his time doing when not working on creative, he was working out or watching wrestling videos. That's it. Other than that, he was working on creative, this, that, and third. He apparently sleeps very little, like most people like him do. You know, they get their 2 or 4 hours and it's back to business. You know, next day, what do we got? So, and I can respect that because everybody says he's a workaholic. He does not care about the hours he works. So, I mean, he's 70-something and starting another company.
But working out I respect it. He put in the fucking time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But one more thing I found. I remember reading about and seeing many interviews about the Ring Boy scandal from the late 80s, early 90s. Have you ever heard about that?
I've actually heard of a couple. Okay, so
right, it was many different. Yeah, they squished it. Well, they've squished it into like it was just one event, but it was several years of this abuse happening. And long story, not too long, is that there were ring boys that would come to assemble and take down the rings at matches and stuff like that. Got paid a little bit of money or whatever, but they were all like 12 to 16. Well, there was a ring boss, Mel Phillips.
I've seen Pinocchio.
Total piece of shit. Absolute pedophile, and preyed on all these little boys. And a couple executives, Terry Garvin, also got hung up in it. One that kind of skirted allegations was Pat Patterson.
Why is that?
My personal opinion?
Yeah.
During the original stretch of this stuff.
Views are for entertainment purposes only.
Pure opinion and speculation. Pat Patterson is gay, openly gay. Everybody knew he was gay, so him messing with the regular talent was not unforeseen. You know, sometimes several guys will say Pat would just walk up and grab their dick in the locker room and then just keep on walking and have a chuckle. You know, whatever. But you deal with it because he's the number 2 guy. He's literally Vince's right-hand man. So who do you bitch to? Who do you try to complain to? You going to bitch to Vince? What do you think, he's going to fire Pat for you? A talent? But the thing is apparently Pat was such a savant everywhere he went. It was like a sixth sense to him for booking and stuff like that. He was literally the best booker everywhere he went. So he was Vince's right-hand man for setting up all of these matches and doing all that stuff. So I think that had a lot to do with.
There's a lot that goes into that. First of all, like you're kind of brushing over that. That is a tremendous endeavor to pull.
That's
all
what
the logistics off
Yeah.
successfully. Like that is true. Sorry, I'm just as someone. Yeah.
100%. But he was that guy.
Yeah.
He was the guy for
Yeah.
that, and everybody viewed him that way, whether they liked him or not. He was God when it came to setting up fucking matches and bookings.
Right. I'm saying that's the. Like, if someone's not familiar or doesn't take the time to consider all aspects of this, that's something that you really do need to consider in this frame of reference, because it's not just this is his number 2, this is his pal or something like that. It's like, no, without him, this literally doesn't work, because I can be the number 1 man, but I cannot fill the shoes of the number 1 man and the number 2 man
Right.
with everything that needs to give him.
Right. I absolutely get what
Yeah.
you're saying, and I 100% agree with you, because that is a massive burden to make all of that go the way it's supposed to, and people don't get that. But on that point, I won't necessarily say that Vince protected Pat. I think Vince, as far as getting Pat skirted away from all those allegations and less associated, he was protecting the business and his business, because he knew that Pat was key to making a lot of it work. So, I feel like Mel Phillips and Terry Garvin, when all this shit first came out and when the real evidence came out, they were immediately cut, never heard from again, never affiliated with the company again. Pat Patterson was originally fired or resigned, but 6-8 months later he was back with the company. Everything was cooled down a little bit. Mm-hmm. They got the bad guys, and Pat was back at work. And the rest is kind of history. But now all this shit's coming around again. There's new victims that have been named. It's 6 or 8 new ones who are no telling how old now.
Right.
But all that's in Discovery and all that shit now. So, and Pat Patterson's name's come back up again, and we'll see. But I don't know one way or another. It's all conjecture to me. But I just thought it was funny that all these years later, they're pulling back more victims of the Ring Boy scandal from 30, 40 years ago, and they're finally getting their say or whatever they alleged happened. So,
Right.
I don't know. It's just, is there a reason behind that? Is it, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably just people are starting to die off. It's the same with, government declassification of things.
Mm-hmm.
Enough of the people die off, or all the people die off that could be implicated, then stuff kind of,
Yeah. So,
same basic.
anyway, that's all I had. I thought all that was funny. Oh, Vincey Pooh starting a new venture that's going to specialize in TV and digital content and stuff like investments and asset allocation and
A lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers, spies, all that. I think he's someone that I feel could drop at any moment and it would not surprise me. And he's also someone who could live another 50 years and I'll be like, well, yeah, he's got the money. Of course, that makes sense, They got Putin and Xi on Hot Mic talking about how they're just getting organs swapped in and out of them regularly, and that, Xi's like, yeah, it's perfectly feasible. I'm gonna live to be at least 150, and Putin laughs like, I'm trying not to say other things right now.
Linda McMahon, or
On the subject of Vladimir Putin.
on the subject of Vince, on the subject of the things, your Secretary of Education, is that right? The department they're destroying and dismantling and all that?
Yeah.
Like 30 years ago, she was diagnosed with stage whatever cancer, was given 12 months to live, and Vince got her treated, and she looks great. Did you see her the other day when she was talking? No wrinkles, just bright, bushy-tailed.
If you got access to the stuff, I guess it works. I mean, look at Magic Johnson.
No, he had AIDS, but didn't have AIDS, and then he didn't he get suspended for something, and then, or was that he got hurt? It was the AIDS.
I don't know.
Didn't Michael get suspended? Or no, he retired and he wanted to play baseball. He didn't.
So, on that note, you remember Larry Fitzgerald?
Hmm.
You know he's playing in the WNBA now.
Huh? What?
You know this was this was like 2 years ago. There's a meme about a certain deep-voiced, blatantly male basketball player that, you know, if you put an image right next to Larry Fitzgerald, they look remarkably similar.
Hmm. Funny.
Just a funny thing, funny observation. That's all.
You'll have to pull up the.
I guess being in the Russian mindset and then talking a little bit of football. I admittedly have paid more attention to the WNBA since all of the silicone objects were thrown onto the courts in that little incident. I know they've been trying to church it up. Well, they've been trying to church it up since its inception, but there was a push about 3 years ago, and then there's been another push really this last season going. And, you know, kind of the Reese-Clark rivalry, transitioning from college to pro ball, what you got there, all of that. So Caitlin Clark has recently come out and said that there's a lot of dudes in the WNBA that are playing.
He said that? She said that?
Well, I was just thinking, straight from the horse's mouth, as they say.
I think to have a rivalry in any sport, that both the participants have to be good.
Hold on, I will say, and this isn't just Futurama, good fundamentals, the classic trope that you have there.
You know can dunk, but good fundamentals.
That more fun to watch.
I have seen some standout plays from some female basketball players.
Same.
I have been entertained by.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we are starting to get to the point where there is enough talent that has been allowed to develop. Like they've had a life of enough time, enough touches on the ball to get, you know. And I think we're starting to get where it is becoming something entertaining. Now, does that mean... Well, we won't go down any conjecture with that.
I think the best players in the WNBA, you don't even know their names. I think you would have to look into it.
I think it's basically every year we'll say we'll get a new wave of relevancy that builds it up and builds it up. And I think there's also enough media hype that they're pushing behind it each time too, where they'll start getting that following. And maybe you'll have your, oh, Caitlin Clark all the way, ho, ho. And then you'll have the people who are like, Caitlin Clark's a dude, no. Little Sally Jane, she's killing it, or, you know, whatever. I think we're starting to get there, which is entertaining. I like more options, more individual things for people to be entertained by. I mean, I do enjoy going to a place like a sports bar, for instance, eating the food, having things to watch. And it's nice to do that at any time of day, you know, outside of a casino.
Right.
Being able to see things, you know.
Sure.
And I mean, I do enjoy all the obscure stuff.
There's ping pong from Ding Dang.
I mean, I've watched some furious ping pong matches, let's be real. Have you seen badminton?
Dude, those things are coming.
Yeah, it went from being something I ridiculed mercilessly to entirely respected.
Blood sport.
Yeah, that is incredible coordination, good reflexes. I mean, that's you got to be on your game.
No, I like anything competitive. You know, I don't care what it is. It's just if I can figure out how to do it and practice a little bit by the end of the night, especially if it's some beer game or something like that, it's going down.
One of the things I have mixed feelings about that I have been watching has been this trend of where you get these just two absolute shit houses that run full speed into each other. Oh yeah! And that's the game.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean incredibly dangerous, and people are absolutely getting f***ed up.
Yeah. That's some jackass stuff right there.
Yeah, but it's a thing. I mean,
Don't try this at home, kids.
on that same kind of vein, a little shallower though, you have the like the slap competitions. You know.
Oh yeah, hell,
People
UFC's
breaking
doing
jaws,
that now.
shattering skulls and stuff. I saw this guy just
Eye
face
socket.
just slam.
Yeah, it's I'm not much into that. I don't think that's a. Ow, for one, if we're gonna fight, let's fight. But you're just gonna collapse my eye socket with your bare hand. I don't, we're not doing that. Not my game.
There's just varying degrees of different
I've
things.
seen the Alaskan reindeer herders. They have little fun games they'll do with each other, and one of them is they'll take a string and get about yay long, and they'll wrap it behind their ear, and then you wrap it behind yours.
Oh yeah,
And you just start
that.
pulling away from each other, and whichever one gives up first from the pain is the pussy. And I thought, those are strongman games, but girls are playing that shit too, and beating guys, and
Yeah, I've seen that. Some of them they hurt.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they start hurting my
purple
ear.
ear, you just see it dig it in. Oh, that's But obscure stuff like that, it's like, I'll rip my ear off to beat you tonight. What's going? More whiskey. Well, let's do this.
Man, or where they just slap each other with belts over and over again until one of them gives out.
That's not a game I want to play.
But there's hundreds of probably thousands. Who knows how many?
Surely.
And it's fascinating to think the origin of all of these different things, because at the end of the day, almost every one of these was just some asshole trying to out macho another asshole, probably for some female that's over here, and maybe there's a piece of meat that they're saber-tooth they killed or whatever the hell, and so it's.
Look at the Highland Games. That's 100%. I'm the biggest badass around. I'm gonna pick this whole log up and throw it over my head. What you got, bitch?
I mean, that's what chimpanzees do. We've talked. Didn't we I think we talked about that in one
Chimp
of these,
Empire.
what's that? I think we talked about that in this podcast before.
Oh, surely.
Sure, like, that's
Absolutely.
the most
We probably
relevant
rambled
thing
on
the
about
planet.
that for a hot minute. Yeah.
I mean, but that's literally just the same behavior you've got to show. And it's. Oh yeah, my boy Ashton Jeanty finally started coming out. I saw there's this meme. I saved it here for you. This won't go on the podcast probably or anything, but and it's they're just comparing it to his Michael Myers stance, because this is literally him. Before they start, I was just like, yeah, I love it. But realistically, that's just his mentality with the team at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just.
We'll see the OC now, Chip Kelly. He tried to beat that out of him in training camp. He was like, you got to get down. You got to get down so you can get level. And he did it for a game and then half a game. And then now you finally see him. And now that he's back in his regular stance, dude's balling.
Well, he's also finally starting to get some of them touches. You got to get rid of Geno. I mean, the Raiders, it seems like my whole life, have had a quarterback situation. I like Carr for a little bit there, because he was, playing through the pain, trying to put it on his back, but nothing really happened. That is what it is. But there's just always been a quarterback situation. Now there's a bit of offensive line situation as well, but I think that might be more because they don't want to block for him. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
And I'd take Geno over Jameis Winston, like we were talking about earlier.
oh no, I would take Jameis Winston going to the Raiders, and they turn him into a naughty boy. And
The heel turn.
week 2, there's some scandalous video that comes out, him at some Vegas pool or whatever, causing a ruckus. And then there's some negative media stuff in the press. He gets this little fine slap on the wrist. And then he comes out and just fucking
Balls.
just chucks him, dude.
Well, I mean, if you ask him, he'll tell you he is a baller. You see the tape? I'm a baller. Jameis, you
have
threw
you-
40 interceptions. No, 5,000 yards this year. Did you see that? I've not enjoyed this character.
I've not enjoyed this character. He needs a rewrite.
He needs a character change. We need to turn him from colorful Sting to black and white Sting. We need to get him.
Hey, Raiders, silver and black. Silver and black.
Yeah, as far as Geno Smith's concerned, I lost faith in him in college. He had 1 year in West Virginia where he was phenomenal. And then he came out that next year and was okay, and then just...
I think that was on his receiving core and the protection that he was getting. I think that was not so much him. I'm not saying he was not talented.
He still got drafted. He's still been through the ringer and all that, and he's finally a starter again, but he's just not the guy, man. He's not the one that's going to win you a Super Bowl. He's the guy that's going to back up the guy that's going to win you the Super Bowl.
Speaking of guys that win Super Bowls, Tom Brady, a man that is possibly trying to become the next Madden. We've talked about this in Sports Ball Talk. I guess Brian's not on board. I'm just saying he's Mr. Football. He's going all the way. I remember seeing a clip, and it's when he's at the Bucks, and they're losing, and he's yelling at his friends, and he's like, "I didn't leave my wife and kids to come here and lose."
What did he say, to lose to the Browns at halftime or whoever they were playing? Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
hot
saying.
Clip.
That's his mentality. That's him all the way.
That dude will do whatever it took to win, and I can respect that. He that's why Troy Aikman won so many Super Bowls, is because he committed to the process, had a phenomenal line, he did everything he was supposed to as far as a quarterback. If Jimmy Johnson was still, if that never happened, if Jimmy could have toned it down and took credit for what he needed to, and if Jerry could have shut his fucking mouth and let him coach and took the credit he needed to, Cowboys would have won six Super Bowls in the 90s, and I have zero doubts about that, because Jerry Rice and them were on their way out. I'm just saying, you don't broke something, or you don't fix something that ain't broke, and that was not broke. And if you would have just, everybody stayed in their realm and let it ride, you had the youngest, best roster in football, and you could absolutely won more than 3. I mean, Barry Switzer literally came in after, 5-6 years of sitting on the couch from Oklahoma, hadn't done anything, had zero aspirations of coaching, came into Jimmy's team and was like, yeah, all right, I'll coach it. Sure.
I don't
Blow
think
whistle.
quite like that. I think this is a little bit of the bias on there. Maybe we need to watch Alex Stein again to get some Cowboys fan perspective. That was too.
Well,
too
to be
funny.
fair, I also think that the Barry Switzer hire was one last you to Jimmy, because
That's very fair. That's very fair.
Because Switzer and Jimmy had their own coaching rivalry back in the day. Jimmy was the Oklahoma State coach when Barry Switzer was at Oklahoma. While he was there, they used to whip their ass every year. Then Jimmy went to Miami. Miami whipped their ass. All the controversy with the cocaines and the gang and all that shit at Oklahoma. Barry Switzer goes on about his business.
Yeah, but I mean, aside from the cocaine-fueled gang, that's what you like to see. You like to see that controversy, the rivalry, the story. Once again, that entertainment aspect of it all the way.
Story.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, we obviously just had the firing at Oklahoma there. We've coaches dropping like flies in college, and just I still don't know how some people are not being fired yet. And Miami.
Or whether it was against the Miami Dolphins.
Wow, and now Miami has called a timeout. So before we've even had a play from scrimmage, we've had a false start and a timeout.
I'm going to look at you as a city and say, I think the Dolphins deserve better. I think every one of you deserve better. Do the right thing here. This is akin to the Joker telling Gotham to.
I planted a bomb.
No, there's no bomb.
The key is in your pockets.
There's no threat. Just. But for real, I'm starting to hear some buzz like my big question with sports ball talk has been, is it going to be Napier or Dabo going? Napier, what clearly thought was the candidate that should be going. We've seen several coaches, like I said, start dropping before that. Now I'm starting to hear some mutterings about old Hugh Freeze and comparing him to some of Auburn's more infamous coaches, and they've got, very similar or the exact same starts. And
very Gus Malzahni, huh?
Yeah, I think we'll have to table this, and that'll be in the live episode. We'll get
touch on
Auburn
that
fans' perspective from GB.
I think GB might have something to say about that.
Yup. On that note, so this Grimes tablet, right? It's about to be relevant, so we will talk about those things.
Weird chick.
Very, very weird chick. I will say one interesting thing about her has been the kind of body modifications that she's done. I don't know if you've seen she's got a lot of different tattoos, and she's always had those, but the most recent was the like white scarring stuff done all over her chest and arms. Cause
I've seen that. Yeah.
She already had her back stuff done. I don't know if you saw that. Oh my gosh!
No, I have seen I've seen the back one. She's done her front side now too.
Very similar to the, intentional scarification that you'll see in a lot of indigenous tribes and
the crocodile guys from Africa. Yeah.
She calls it her alien lines or alien scars or alien stuff. Same word, pick a word, and all that stuff she's going with. Very
So she's going full body now, huh?
Very interesting. And on that note, she's got those hands. I was talking about the Hollywood hands and all that. It's like the fingers are longer and longer and all. And yeah, they're putting on the nails, which give it that exaggerated effect too. But
yeah,
the fingers are in fact actually long as shit.
It's just
all interesting. She said 3 of his kids, right?
At least 2, yeah, and they're like abbreviation names.
Yeah.
XY26 factor 4 and.
Well, when you start having so many kids, you start.
Are we pulling on that thread? Because on record he's got what, 20?
Well, you've also got that going on in the NFL now too. You know what I'm talking about, right? Cardi B's new baby daddy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the 3 other ladies also pregnant at the same time. Right?
Same, like within a month or 2 max. Like how are you that high profile of a player and allow yourself to put a baby in either one of those people? I feel like if I was doing that well, I would have a proper lady as my person.
A proper lady
to bear my children and keep my household and be my partner for life. It wouldn't be, oh, she used to be a stripper and now she's and.
You saw that they also I'm blanking on it, but one of these corn stars that has been out there made like 400 videos, and now she's crying and how she demanding that all of them get taken down because she doesn't want her children to see that. And it's like,
oh, darn.
Once you get back those $40 million or whatever you made from all that, first of all, but
you know what I bet that is, honestly? I bet that is for those industry stars who have maybe faded out of the limelight, a way for them to get their name searched again. Oh, I don't even remember this girl. Oh, wow, look at that. Now she's a mom?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
very much
that,
so,
I bet that's a secret little game plan for that particular industry to get another stream of revenue, we'll say, because, people get paid for clicks, and maybe they're still working, but it's private now, and here's the link to my 45-year-old naked body.
That is what it is. That's just, I don't understand that at all. And I'm not trying to be like rude, but I just don't understand it.
It's sad what the lady folk have been allowed to think is appropriate and okay and all that, Cause
it's and like we've already touched on before, the new generation right now has the biggest gap in moral values between the genders.
Yeah.
And we also see that reflected in the most recent election results, whether you're looking at Virginia or New York City.
Looks like Minneapolis held out, though.
Well, I'm just saying, the demographic with the highest percentage voting for each of those candidates was the wealthy white women that are, no matter what you're looking at on paper, the absolute category that gets disaffected the most from these policies.
Weird.
We touched on this before, or I've touched on this before with you. We've seen that in regimes all over the world, revolutionaries where you've got the, women who are the liberal women praising in this new radical socialist regime that's going to make everything better, and then within a year, those women in those photos were executed.
Yeah, they're no longer breathing
because their values weren't the values of what they just brought in,
right?
And they don't think.
That's like the Queers for Palestine thing, I've never do you even look into the thing you're supposed to be mad about? Like, if this person who's like Queers for Palestine with her husband, or excuse me, her wife or his husband, or however that, whatever TQ plus blah blah is out there, this or that, like if they went to visit that country at any point in their life, they would be surrounded in the street and murdered. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what are you doing?
Now, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to get on one side of the spectrum or other politically, because this
no.
Well, no, I'm saying this also goes the exact other way, where you have people who are on the right-wing side of things who have these certain beliefs and policies and are supporting this thing that is very much against what they actually believe, but they think that that's what their team is supposed to be supporting, so they do, like, the one topic that you can't talk about, that's a big one right there that you can look at like, I don't even know. It's frustrating, and I wish that people would think for themselves, not what they're supposed to think to be on their team.
Or to be fair, if you think you're on a team, look at the handful of things that are the big issues on your team, and then think to self, do I like these things? Self, do I think these things are right?
Oh,
and if the answer is no, then maybe we should do some selfing away from all this garbage and figure out what we really believe in, and then try it again. You know what I'm saying? It's just this identity politics on whatever. It's your color, it's your religion, it's whatever. They just got to shove you in a box, and if you don't jump in this box with X, you're the bad guy, and then it's sad, man. Yeah. I hate to get up on my soapbox, but it's just...
We've kind of tangented on there. I was trying to talk about the tablet.
I'm sorry.
That's on me more than you, realistically.
So back to Alien Lady Grimes with her new tablet.
So people have looked at it, and you got to remember, it came out before COVID came out, and it was to promote this... one of the songs was called Violence, and she's got the COVID mask, and there's all of the signs and symbols that you then saw in the pandemic that are there in the video before it came out. Interesting stuff there. But you look at the emojis, and I'll probably just leave this on the screen for a long time so anybody that may not have seen it for whatever reason, and you're going through all the different things, and you see the computer code plus gene splicing, and then you see, is that a coronavirus on there? And then 3 separate jabby jabs, and then the equal sign, and is that a traditional flying saucer that we would say is the UFO on there? And so if we're following all of these, and we want to say maybe each one of these symbols is a year or whatever time period on it. But however you're looking at it, now we're right here at this 3-eye Atlas time or whatever.
Didn't he just pop out from behind the sun, and now we get to look at him again?
And changing speed and all that stuff again. But and it looks like the next thing I see the pound sign, as we traditionally called it. Now kids say the hashtag, but it's all these, I guess, war. It looks like a bow and arrow, a sword, cross swords, a shield, a dagger. But we do see a dagger, and then we see 2 DNA strands, exclamation marks, some dots, all kinds of different emotion faces, some, was that moon phases with a lot of exclamation for. I mean, there's just go as dark as you want. We can keep going down in there. It's just,
Yeah. No, yeah, sure.
Oh. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
But she, are you aware that she did an updated version? Kind of silently on an X post here. You had to have been following her or know about her. It's a private account and all that. But this is from Grimesies, at Grimesies. A few years ago, we released a prophecy on this ancient tablet, the one to the left. Since most of the bad omens have come true, we've canceled this stone and are releasing a new prophecy, the one on the right. Huge apologies for any inconveniences we have caused. I mean, yeah.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. What we seem to have in here, instead of having just 2 twin dragons, we have some, I don't know, some other stuff here. There's just different symbols, and this one doesn't have end right at the end with some, nuclear and radiation. Actually, it looks like all of the big ones. You got nuclear, biological, and yeah. But so I don't know if she changed her mind.
Maybe her mind was changed. That's a little different.
But if you look at this one, the end has like a jack-o'-lantern, a heart, and is that a ghost or a tombstone? Above that, we have a DNA strand. Is that the infinity sign? Oh no, that's a small emoji with bug eyes, it looks like. Above that, we got some rocket ships and some planets. We still have all this here. But at the end of this cycle, we have hearts all over the face emoji. Still got the DNA with the dagger through it. What in the Sam Hill? What in the Sam Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Make sure. That's not a good thing. September 5th, 2019 is when the Violence music video came out. It had the mask and the stuff in it. Or I can't say that word. The mask and the other stuff in it.
It's foreboding.